You two need to experiment. Anne-Laure Le Cunff. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind in your face, the world behind you screaming, "Hurry up, figure it out, chase success." You look over the edge and realize you don't even know what success looks like for you. That cliff is our modern life. We're taught to climb a leaderboard that's constantly shifting, an invisible race shaped by social media likes, job titles, and daily productivity hacks. But what if the goal isn't to sprint toward a 10-year plan? What if the real freedom is in not knowing and choosing to explore anyway? In our world today, we constantly measure ourselves against others. Every scroll through social media becomes a silent comparison. Is she doing better than me? Has he figured it out already? These questions echo in our heads, quietly breeding anxiety and toxic productivity. We convince ourselves that if we just hustle a bit harder, structure our days a bit tighter, wake up a bit earlier, we'll finally feel fulfilled. But what if we've misunderstood the formula altogether? What if chasing certainty is what's truly holding us back? Here's the truth. Most people don't find their passion. They stumble into it. Think about that for a second. The happiest, most fulfilled people rarely followed a meticulously planned map. Instead, they followed sparks of curiosity. They took wrong turns. They tried things, failed at some, loved others, and discovered themselves in the doing. Life isn't a pre-written story, it's an evolving experiment. And maybe it's time we stop obsessing over purpose and start giving ourselves permission to explore without expectations. Anne-Laure Le Cunff, neuroscientist and author of Tiny Experiments, knows this intimately. In her work, she emphasizes how our brains are overloaded, bombarded with information, constantly pushed to perform, and yet still functioning with hardware that hasn't changed much since prehistoric times. We ask ourselves, am I enough? Am I fast enough? Productive enough? And in doing so, we forget that our value isn't found in constant optimization. It's found in meaning, and meaning doesn't come from systems. It comes from experience. Let's talk about tiny experiments. Imagine replacing your rigid life goals with playful curiosity. What if, instead of trying to become something, you simply asked, what happens if I try this? This shift is revolutionary. It allows you to fail, to learn, to be surprised. It liberates you from the illusion that you need to know exactly where you're going. You don't. Most of us don't, and that's okay. The traditional model of success is linear. Step A leads to B, which leads to C, and then, boom, you're successful. But that assumes you know what you want, now will still be what you want in 5 years. And we know that's not how life works. The world evolves. You evolve. Your goals should change. Letting go of linearity means embracing freedom, the kind that allows your goals to shift as you grow. There's a quote often attributed to Viktor Frankl: "Our freedom lies in the space between stimulus and response." That tiny pause between something happening to us and how we react is where all our power lives. Do we act from habit, or do we stop, reflect, and choose intentionally? Emotional regulation, especially through tools like affect labeling, lets us take back that pause. By simply naming our emotions or describing them metaphorically, like a stormy sea, we tap into the rational parts of our brain and regain control. So much of our behavior stems from mindsets, those invisible lenses through which we see the world. Anne-Laure identifies 3 that often hold us back: the cynical mindset, no ambition, no curiosity; the escapist mindset, curiosity without drive; and the perfectionist mindset, ambition without curiosity. The first dooms us to passivity. The second keeps us stuck in dreams. And the third traps us in burnout, forever chasing goals without joy. But there's a fourth mindset, the experimental mindset, and it's where magic happens. Here, Ambition and curiosity coexist. You're not blindly chasing success, nor are you just drifting aimlessly. You're engaged, playful, and intentional. You're not afraid of failure because you see it as data. You're not married to outcomes because the process is where the growth lives. Scientists grow through trial and error, and so can you. How do you adopt this mindset? Start with observation. What's working in your life right now? What's not? Then ask questions. Design a tiny experiment, something so doable, so light, that it doesn't require extra resources. Create a pact with yourself. I'll do X for 1 week and see how I feel. Take notes, reflect, then decide, should I persist, pause, or pivot? This cycle, observe, experiment, reflect, is liberating. It keeps you nimble. And in a world that's changing faster than ever, that's your greatest asset. Neuroscience even backs this up. The same brain regions that activate when we're thirsty for water also activate when we crave information. Curiosity is literally wired into us. But there's a catch. In today's age, information is everywhere, and not all of it is useful. We confuse information with knowledge, and in doing so, we lose sight of what's real. Real knowledge isn't found in TikTok trends or Twitter threads. It's found in action, in trying something, learning from it, and feeling the result. If we only consume and never do, we become paralyzed by uncertainty. And ironically, uncertainty is the very thing we need in order to grow. That brings us to fear. Fear of the unknown. It's hardwired into us for good reason. Our ancestors needed it to survive. But today, fear often stops us from taking risks that are far from life-threatening. We'd rather accept a mediocre job, stay in a stale relationship, or abandon a project than face the discomfort of uncertainty. But here's the thing, if everything in your life feels predictable, it probably also feels a little dead. Let's talk scripts, cognitive patterns that guide how we behave. Most are helpful in daily routines, but they can become dangerous when applied to major life decisions. There's the sequel script, the idea that because we've always done something a certain way, we must continue. There's the crowd pleaser script, where we make choices to gain approval instead of joy. And then there's the epic script, the idea that your life must be grand, ambitious, world-changing, or it's meaningless. Anne-Laure once tried becoming a YouTuber. On paper, it worked. Her channel grew, her videos got attention. But inside, she hated the process. Sitting in front of a camera drained her. So even though the outcome looked like success, she quit. Why? Because internal data, how it made her feel, mattered more than external metrics. That's what living experimentally looks like. So what if you let go of the master plan? What if you traded certainty for play? Try self-anthropology. Observe your energy, your joy, your stresses. Treat your life as a research project. Ask, why did this make me feel alive? Why did that drain me? Reconnect with your emotions instead of suppressing them. You'll be amazed at what opens up. This isn't about lowering your standards. It's about changing your definition of success. From a fixed destination to a vibrant process. From grand purpose to tiny steps. From fear to curiosity. Because the truth is, you don't need a 10-year plan. You just need the courage to experiment.